What is going on, everyone? James the Third and Bass Layers. I am out in the bait room once again, and today I am out here to paint a couple baits, and one of them is for a buddy of mine, and I'm going to be painting them in a shad pattern color. And I painted up a lunker punker a while back for a buddy of mine. I'm going to show you guys this bait. Show you the paint job on that guy. You guys might have seen this bait before. There's multi-colors and layers going on with this, some silvers and pearlized, some pearlized white, pearlized pineapple, and then we got that it is the dragonfly glaze folk art. Stuff's pretty cool, man. It shows blue if you look at it one way, and it shows purple if you look at it another way. I throw some sepia over it to blend it all. You wrap it and throw some sepia on there, get that thing going, man. What I have here is I have 4 blanks, excuse me, I have 3 blanks of my kick turn gill that are ready to go. And if you notice the different colors of the paper clips here, once I get the paint on these guys, sometimes I get mixed up. I don't want to mix up the pieces and put the wrong pieces together. I don't want this head going with one of those tails. It'll throw off the balance of the bait and everything else. So I put the same color paper clips on those pieces so I know that I have that same bait. If you notice, there's that little wood mark that's on there from when they marked the wood in the shop or whatever. That also helps me to see that those 2 pieces go together. And once I put that paint on there, you're not going to know. So you want to do something like that. Put something color coded on there, and when I go to paint these, I can hold them like that, or I can put them in my little clips to hold them, and I can paint these guys up like that, and then I know which pieces go together when they're finished, and I can go and epoxy coat them, pull the pieces and do them one at a time, and then attach them together and that whole deal. So I have 3 of those that I'm going to be painting in that shad pattern. I have 4 of these guys, the kick turns, and they are in the bass pattern. This is a wake bait. It crates down about a foot. They're about 65 grams each, and these guys are for sale on urbanbasslayers.com, all lowercase letters. These baits come with 2x hooks and 2x split rings. I got 4 of these guys. Bam, 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 and bam. These guys are all on the page ready to go. And I have one of these guys ready to go, which is one of the wake and bakes. This one has got the rubber tail, which I have not drilled the holes and stuck the tail in there yet. And I have a couple other of the wake and bakes that are almost finished. I just got to epoxy coat them. And I got this guy going. Notice the red and the red. It's painted and I can't tell the difference. So I got the red and the red, so I know that these guys go together. And then on this one, obviously, you got the rubber tail on that one, but still you wouldn't be able to tell. I got to put the leaves on the backs of this one. And this one gets the rubber tail. If I can hold these pieces right. It's got the white paper clips. Now I know this one goes together. Now if I was to mix up the tail with the head of these, that would really mess up the whole deal, because they got to go together, because each piece of wood is cut. You don't want to use 2 different pieces of wood that are balanced different. It'll mess up the movement of the bait. I have some other stuff that I was working on here, which are a couple of these guys, and that's a fine example right there of paying attention to what you're doing. I painted this guy, and when I attached it, or actually before I attached it, I wasn't paying attention, and I painted the tail of this guy upside down. So that guy got painted upside down, and I got a second one here that's not painted upside down. Now these don't walk quite right. I need to adjust these wings and bend the angle of the wing down, so the front screws need to come out. Or actually what I think I'm going to do, I already thought about this, is I'm going to take these screws, the back screws out, and I'm going to raise them up, which will pitch the wings like that, and it'll make the wings catch in the water better and make them walk better. These were kind of an experiment. I was hoping that they would work so I could sell one, but that's all right. They're experiments. I can kind of tweak both of these different way and see which one walks better. paint job on it doesn't matter. It was just a quick little paint job that I did with some purples and some other colors, some whites. But those guys, pretty cool. And now we rinse and repeat. I take this guy, hit it with the hair dryer, and heat set the paint, and then we move on and keep hitting each one of these pieces until all 6 of the pieces are done. Take these guys over here, hang these on these clips. That way the paint don't get messed up. And we'll hang them all on here until we're ready for the next step. Got all 6 of these pieces base coated, and now we're going to move on to the next step. Alrighty everyone, so I got all 3 of the baits base coated, but what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to finish up one paint job because that bait is supposed to be sent out, and I will finish up the other 2 within the next day. And I'm also going to paint that same shad pattern on these 2 blanks right here, which is alternative lure blanks, and as you can see there's magnets on the bottom for the hooks. These alternative lure blanks, which are the same ones that I have up on the sales page right now, which is the shad pattern and the goldfish pattern. So those will be getting this same pattern, and we are moving on to the next color here. So we got the white base. I guess we will go with, which one looks the best and is covered the most? We will go with this guy. This guy will next get the silver on the bottom, and then we'll go to the pearlized. A bit of reducer. So we got the silver on. The next thing will be to use the stencil and use the pearlized pineapple and put that on. Alrighty, so I got this guy set up for my camera where I'm taking that angle, and I got my chesty on so you guys can see this way as I'm painting. So let me get to painting. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I got a blue and I got a yellow. All bad. Come on, James, you're better than that. Shame, shame, shame. That's why I do it. Well, not a bad fix, but I got the right piece now. Yellow and yellow. See, that's why I color coordinate them. I would have started doing the wrong one. So now I got to heat set this guy. I'll do that off camera because it's nice and noisy. And use my trusty hair dryer here. And I'm going to heat set this and then get to the next step. Where's the punk rat? Gotta match this. Come right off the eye here. A little bit of a spot there. Should have tested it over here before I went. See, the Pearlized Pineapple does not like to, oh, I got that one. Got the trusty punker here for reference so I can make sure that I'm doing the pattern right. The next thing to do on this bait, I just painted one of these the other day, is to throw this Aqua Flash, what is it, the Folk Art Aqua Flash color shift. Stuff's pretty badass, and I'm going to put that on the top and then move on from there. At least Folk Art color shift paints and stuff like this, this stuff is super thick, so what I did was I put big old marbles in there. Well, I think there's just one in this. There's a big old marble in there, and I shake the crap out of this stuff. Oop, lose it. And then when I do it, I got some reducer right here, and I put the reducer in here, and I mix it in the cup, and then put it on the bait. Alright, that color, that aqua, that is by far one of the hardest colors to spray through the airbrush. It's just so thick, and with it being hot out here right now, it's hard to spray. So the next step will be to take some of this material here that I got at Joann Fabric and wrap these baits and put some of these clips, the alligator clips on it to hold it. And then we will get to spraying some sepia, the do-it-all color. We get to spray some sepia, and it will bring the colors together and bring out everything. And then we'll get to the next layer on the bait. I keep all my clips just right here, so I can just reach and grab them in the little thing right there. So we're going to get to wrapping this guy. Take the front piece first. It's nice and dry. I heat set the paint, the air dryer. Hair dryer. We're just using air to dry, so I call it an air dryer, even though it is a hair dryer. I guess I misspoke that. I do that a lot, and that's all right. I misspeak a lot, or I kind of stutter too, because I have a metal plate in my jaw. A lot of people don't know that. When I was a young kid, I was about 17 years old, and I was on my bike. Me and my friends were out riding around, and we were out at night. Probably shouldn't have been. And a couple older guys that were probably in their 30s, close to their 40s, they decided to jump me and beat me up, and they broke my jaw in 2 places. And that's why I have a hard time talking sometimes. If you guys ever talk to me or listen to me talk on here, that's why I kind of mumble sometimes. And anyways, yeah. So I was 17, got jumped by a couple guys that were super duper drunk, and I didn't see it coming. I was sitting on my bike, and the guy pulled me forward by my handlebars when he hit me, so like totally caught me off guard. I was just a little kid, man, out minding my own business. Anyways, another reason why I like to keep people fishing and doing things that are productive and not being out being a-holes. Be a productive member of society. I like to use this fishing page as guidance to people too, to stay on track with life. Life is tough, and sometimes it can get you down. but together we can all get through this together. Yes. Oops. I have got to put a piece on the back here before I forget. Got a bunch of these pieces of manila folder that I take and I put over the tails. I take a couple paper clips, stick the paper clip on there just to hold it for a second. That way the tail doesn't get all beat up. These tails on these, because they're paintbrush tails, they do end up getting all frayed out and like blowing out. But I'll tell you what, the fish don't care. The fish don't care that it doesn't look all normal. That I've actually had them eat my bait with the tail all blown out. After I've fished it for a while, I've caught a couple good fish on my kick turn bait. A couple of the times we went out fishing, my old GoPro took a dump on me also, so that really sucked. I stuck the GoPro underwater to get some footage of a really big fish, which I'll put that footage out, and tried to get footage of that really big fish. It was well over 10 pounds, and the door on my old GoPro is compromised. It got bent out somehow, and it's now toasted. That GoPro is now gone, and so is a whole bunch of footage that I had, because the SD card that was in there got messed up. But I'm seeing what I can do to try to get the footage off of that thing. Anyways, those guys are wrapped and they are ready for the next step, which is sepia. Thanks for hanging in there, guys. Sometimes these things get stuck in here, man. Pain in the butt sometimes. Come on. Unwrap it and see what it looks like. Sepia with that wrap always brings those colors together a little bit. Now we will move on to the next step, adding the next color. Alrighty, we got it to this point. The sun is going down, it's getting a little dark, but this GoPro can actually film in here. My old GoPro could not film in here. Something about the pixelation just did not like the lighting in this room, but this GoPro seems to be doing pretty well. So the next step here is pretty basic. We're just going to throw some of this dragonfly glaze over the top, and then we'll hit it the top with a little bit of black over that, and then hit some more dragonfly glaze over the top. Take this and shake it up, get it upside down, that way some of the paint or the glaze will get into the lid. Then I just use the lid. It's usually just enough to do this with. Come in there and just a fun. It's amazing what this stuff will do to a paint job. It's got blues in it, and it looks like light blues, dark blues, and then like some purples in it. So I try to put that just where the yellow's at. Pearlized Pineapple, just kind of hit it like that. And then when I'm finished with this, you'll be able to see that in the sunshine and actually be able to see what it looks like a little bit better. So alright everyone, it is the next day. It was getting a little dark out here and I didn't want to keep continuing to film in the dark, so I waited till the next morning, came out here, and we're going to finish this bait now. So I have this bait to this stage. Next step is to spray a little bit of black over the top of this to kind of blend it down, tone it down, a little bit of black around the eye area, And then we will come back with some pearlized white and my little piece of material here for the scale effect. Got a little bit of that black in there. And now the next thing to do will be to put more of this dragonfly glaze on the top. Make it pop a little bit more. But I think what I'm going to do, because that's going to take a minute for it to dry, is I'm just going to go ahead and do the pearlized white on the bottoms here, because it's not going to interfere with the top. And then I can do the dragonfly glaze after that. Let it dry, and then do the gill plates and all that stuff. See that pearlized white on there. You can't really see it when it's direct, it's only when the light hits it. Anywhere that I sprayed that black, just put this stuff on. Put it on pretty thick too. And then we'll get the other side as soon as that dries a little bit. And stuff. It's got like multiple colors in it. That's what it looks like when it is done. Pretty cool. Alrighty, on to the next step. Right, I got me a stencil here, and I'm just going to stick this guy on here, something like that. And then I got my fin stencil. That guy will go on next after I do this part. Ready? There is the base for one side. And we will do the other side, try to match it as close as we can, and then we will get to putting some more detail on this guy. Pretty cool. Next step here on the fins is to put a little bit of that pearlized pineapple, and put that on the fin to give it a little pop. And then I'm going to come back and do some lines with this guy. Put some little lines on there, and then I'll do a little bit of acrylic on the cheekbone to make it all pop. Alrighty, so the back part here is pretty much done and ready to go. Now we just have to finish off the front with a little bit of red. and put some eyes on it. See what it looks like when it's got the red on it with some eyes. Alright, so we are to the next step here, which is going to be putting some eyeballs on the bait. And I tried my best to kind of match the pattern that I did on here. And this bait's got red eyes, so I think I'm going to go with that and put some red eyes on this. I've got a couple different colors of red eyes. I got some basic red with black, and I got these crazy like red ones with some reflective. Kind of like these ones a little more. They got more pop to them. So I think I'm going to use these. I got these on, I think it was like Amazon or something. I got a big old pack of a whole bunch of them. It was pretty cheap. If you look around on the internet, you can find some pretty good eyeballs for a pretty decent price. Alright, so what I typically use is some type of gel super glue. I happen to have the Gorilla Glue super glue gel, and the gel works pretty good for the eyes. What you do is you just put a little dab down in here in the eye socket. Make sure you get it all up in there. Let's take the eyes away for a second. See if I can get an eyeball off of here. A lot easier to do this stuff when I'm not filming, but is what it is. Okay, about the eye. Okay. Sometimes these guys do not like to go in the socket. It is a pain in the butt sometimes. I've thrown away numerous eyeballs. I picked them back out and tossed them out because I either touched them or you get glue on them. There it goes. Let that guy dry and I will do the other side. Came back with the paintbrush in the black, and I just put a little tiny bit of black underneath the fin there and a little bit on the cheek just to make it stand out a little bit more. Super duper fine black line, but just enough. Just enough. So alright, this is the next day. This guy is epoxy coated, ready to go. And the next step here will be to mix up some epoxy and to put in the connectors. And I went ahead and made sure that these things already fit in there nice and tight. I always want them nice and tight when they go in. So I will mix up some epoxy and put this guy together. I took these toothpicks and I shaved them down a little bit so they fit in these holes. That way I can get this epoxy all the way down in there. Just take a little bit, stick it in there, shove it down in, make sure it is nice and gooped up. Once it starts popping out the top like that, then you know you got enough in there. Clean. And what we'll do here is we'll take one of these guys. Put some epoxy on it. Make sure you get it all the way around the whole thing. Inside all those little indents or cracks and crevices or whatever you want to call them there. Out the way. Take this guy. The spot right here where we put the epoxy. I got these pushed in a certain distance so they are exactly the same. So when you push them in, they shouldn't push any farther than the hole permits. There's one of them. Let's do the other one. Got the 2 line ties epoxied in there. I just set this guy here. I will let that dry for a minute. A couple hours I will let that dry actually, and then I will come back and I will attach the back part on. I used to put them together all at once. It gets a little bit messy. I like to keep the baits as clean as I can, so I'll do it this way. You come back in a little bit, epoxy this together, and then show you guys the final result out in the sunshine. Alrighty everyone, so here is the finished product. It is all epoxied, ready to go. Got the epoxy on there. Makes it shine, makes it kick, brings all the colors out. And as you can see that pearlized white on the bottom in the scaling when you turn it, and then you can't see it when you turn it down. So as this thing's running through the water, you get that color effect going on there. Pretty cool. It's really good. I did this for a buddy of mine. This was a one-off color pattern. I might start doing this pattern all the time. If you guys want one of these baits, I'm doing them pretty cheap. 30 bucks for a handmade wooden with a couple of split rings, and I do the gamakatsu hooks. I don't like going cheap with my stuff. This is all handmade tails, handmade baits, hand painted, and yeah, there she be. This guy's about to get boxed up, sent out to my buddy Rocky. And anyways, Urban Bass Layers, thank you guys for watching this one. And like I said, if you guys want to get one of these baits off of me, we do have some stuff on urbanbasslayers.com. Some bass patterned baits, the same thing. If you guys want one of these kick turn baits, hit me up and I can make you one of these in whatever color pattern you want, hand painted. And yeah, there should be. Anyways, Urban Bass Layers. I'm gonna say that wrong. Urban Bass Layers. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good day. There's my dog.